There comes a moment on the twin flame journey when everything feels suspended, like you're holding your breath for someone else's awakening, someone else's honesty. You feel him deeply, the one your soul is eternally tethered to, the divine masculine. You feel his energy in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the signs and synchronicities, and especially in the emotional chaos that stirs inside you for no logical reason. He is there, always. But his silence can feel like abandonment. His distance can feel like rejection. You wonder, does he feel it too? Does he even care? Why won't he say what I already know in my heart? This is the sacred wound many divine feminines carry, this uncertainty, this aching for truth. And yet there is more than meets the eye. There is always more. The divine masculine hides not because he does not love, but because his love is too deep, too overwhelming, too sacred to express in ordinary terms. He hides because his soul is being unraveled, and he does not yet have the language, the safety, or the courage to speak from the rawness of that unraveling. To understand what he's hiding, we must step into his heart, not just from a place of wanting answers, but from a place of compassion, soul-deep understanding, and spiritual maturity. So let us begin. Let's unravel the hidden feelings of the divine masculine, not to expose him, not to judge him, but to see him, to finally understand the truth he doesn't know how to say. The divine masculine may not use spiritual words. He may not talk about soul contracts, energy bonds, or past life recognition. But don't let that fool you. He feels the connection as powerfully as you do, just in a different way. His awareness doesn't always take the form of verbal understanding. Instead, it shows up in restlessness, in dreams that linger, in moments when the world feels hollow without you, even if he can't name why. He might downplay it. He might pretend it's not serious. He might run from it altogether. But within him, there is a knowing, primal, emotional, and undeniable. He feels pulled to you. He feels challenged by you. He feels exposed in your presence because you see parts of him he has spent years trying to hide from the world and even from himself. This connection stirs his shadow. It triggers his old wounds, especially the ones around vulnerability, failure, and worthiness. When he feels your unconditional love, it terrifies him, not because it's wrong, but because it's real. And real love demands his transformation. You might think he's ignoring the bond, but he's not. He's carrying it inside, trying to protect it from his own fears and from the parts of himself he doesn't yet understand. The pull he feels toward you isn't imagined. It's soul-level gravity. It doesn't go away, no matter how far he runs. It only grows. The next time you feel abandoned by his silence, remember this. He is not silent because he feels nothing. He is silent because he feels too much and doesn't know how to express it without losing the illusion of control he's spent a lifetime building. At the root of many of the divine masculine's behaviors is one central fear: being seen for who he truly is and being found unworthy. It may not make sense on the surface, especially if he comes across as confident or emotionally detached. But beneath that mask is a heart that fears being unlovable. The divine masculine has been conditioned, often from childhood, to hide his vulnerability. He was taught that strength means emotional distance, that expressing fear or pain is weakness, and that love must be earned through performance, not received as a birthright. So when your energy comes in, pure, intuitive, disarming, it stirs everything he's been taught to suppress. He doesn't just see a romantic partner in you, he sees a mirror that reflects all his hidden emotions, unhealed trauma, and unmet potential. And that mirror is both magnetic and terrifying. When he pulls away, it's not because you are too much, it's because he feels like he is not enough. Your love, your presence, your spiritual awareness, these things awaken a part of him that wants to rise, to evolve, but that part is still fighting with the conditioned version of himself that says, "You're not ready. You'll fail. You'll be rejected if you show who you really are." He is not avoiding you. He's avoiding the pain of feeling exposed. And that pain can be excruciating if he's never felt emotionally safe before. He doesn't want to be loved for a version of himself he cannot sustain. So he hides behind silence, logic, or distraction, anything to keep from showing you the parts of him that feel unworthy of your love. He's not pushing you away because he doesn't care. He's pushing you away because he's terrified that if he lets you in, You'll eventually leave when you see the brokenness he tries so hard to conceal. He doesn't know yet that you already see it, and love him anyway. Another layer of the divine masculine's silence lies in the emotional weight he carries but rarely admits to: guilt and shame. These are emotions he may not consciously understand, but they are lodged in his energetic body like stones, weighing him down and creating distance between who he is and who he longs to be. Guilt shows up when he knows he has hurt you, whether intentionally or not. Whether it was through silence, avoidance, or emotional withdrawal, he knows. And it eats at him, even if he never speaks about it. He may justify his actions outwardly or pretend not to notice, but inside, there is a part of him that feels he is failing you, failing this connection, failing his own soul. Shame is even deeper. Shame says, I am the problem, I am broken. It's not just about something he did, it's about who he believes he is at his core. When he feels this, he becomes emotionally paralyzed. Instead of reaching out, he retreats. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, he disappears. It's not because he doesn't care. It's because he doesn't believe he deserves your forgiveness. He carries shame for not being ready when you are, for not being as spiritually awakened, for needing time, space, and solitude, for not understanding this connection the way you do. He may even compare himself to the version of a divine masculine he thinks he should be, and that gap between his current self and his ideal self becomes a source of pain. This shame doesn't disappear with logic. It can only be softened through grace. He needs to feel that he can grow without being judged, that he can fall and still be loved. Your compassion, your ability to hold space without trying to fix him, is what begins to chip away at that shame. Not because you're responsible for his healing, but because love, true, unwavering love, always creates the conditions for healing to occur. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the divine masculine's behavior is his protective instinct. This instinct is ancient, wired into the soul, and often misread as avoidance or detachment. But the truth is, many times when he withdraws, it's not because he's rejecting you. It's because he's trying to protect you. From what you ask? From himself. When he senses emotional chaos within, when he feels unstable, unworthy, or uncertain, he fears that staying close to you will only cause you pain. He sees how deeply you feel. He sees the purity of your love, and it stirs a fierce desire to shield you, not only from external harm, but from the turbulence he believes he carries inside. This is why he might disappear during times of personal crisis. It's why he may not confide in you when he's falling apart. It's not because he doesn't trust you. It's because he respects you so deeply that he doesn't want to bring darkness into your light. He would rather suffer in silence than risk dragging you down with him. Of course, this instinct is based on a misunderstanding. The divine feminine doesn't need protection from emotional truth. She thrives in it. She was born to transmute pain into wisdom, chaos into clarity. But the divine masculine doesn't always see that, especially when he's not fully in touch with his own spiritual strength. He still believes that love is something to be guarded, that vulnerability is dangerous, and that the best way to love someone is to shield them from the storm. So he hides. Not out of cruelty, but out of care. Not because he wants to hurt you, but because he believes stepping back is the kindest thing he can do. It's important to understand this. The divine masculine often doesn't know how to love in the way you need, not because he doesn't want to, but because he's still learning how to love himself. Until he learns that your connection is a space where all of him is welcome, the strong and the shattered, he will keep trying to protect you, even if it means breaking your heart in the process. The divine masculine is not used to feeling overwhelmed by emotion. Many of them have been raised in a world that discourages sensitivity, a world that teaches men to be rational, composed, and in control. And yet, the twin flame connection does something that nothing else ever has. It knocks down those emotional walls like a tidal wave crashing against a fragile dam. He's not just feeling love. He's feeling soul recognition, spiritual merging, and the unraveling of years of emotional repression all at once. It's terrifying. This intensity doesn't come with a manual. It doesn't come with steps he can follow to make it make sense. He can't outthink it or strategize his way through it. And for someone who has spent a lifetime mastering emotional control, that's deeply unsettling. He might feel angry and not understand why. He might feel grief that has no name. He might feel an ache so deep it confuses him. These are not just feelings from the present. They are feelings that come from past lifetimes, ancestral pain, and spiritual contracts that are now being activated through your union. This is not ordinary love. This is divine love. And divine love purifies everything it touches. When he pulls away or seems emotionally blocked, it's not always because he's avoiding you. It's often because he's drowning in emotional intensity and doesn't know how to swim in it. He doesn't yet have the emotional vocabulary to say, I feel like I'm losing control. He may try to numb himself, distract himself, or throw himself into logic and routine just to feel a sense of normalcy. You might think you've been forgotten, but you haven't. You're living in his emotional body, in his thoughts, in his dreams. He just doesn't know how to hold all of that without breaking. He's learning, slowly, painfully, but steadily. Every time he faces those feelings, even in silence, he moves closer to his truth, closer to you. So if you find yourself wondering whether he feels the same intensity you do, the answer is yes, sometimes even more. But he's not used to living in the emotional realm. He's still adjusting to the ocean of feeling you've brought into his life. The divine masculine is awakening. Even when it looks like he's asleep, stuck in the material world, or emotionally distant, his soul is stirring. His inner world is shifting in ways he doesn't always understand. He might resist the process at first. He might deny it. He might fight to hold on to the familiar. But make no mistake, his spirit is being activated. Spiritual awakening for the divine masculine often begins with discomfort, restlessness, dissatisfaction with the life he once valued, or a deep sense that something is missing. He may not connect these feelings to the twin flame bond right away. He may think it's just stress, career confusion, or personal doubt. But beneath all of that, his soul is awakening through the energy of your connection. Unlike the divine feminine, who often embraces her spiritual path openly, the divine masculine tends to awaken in a more hidden, private way. He questions everything, his beliefs, his identity, his role in the world. And while he might not talk about it, this inner unraveling is often painful and isolating. He may feel lost. He may cling to the familiar even when it no longer brings him joy. This awakening does not follow a straight line. There are regressions, setbacks, moments of spiritual denial. He may awaken one moment only to run the next. He may feel the pull of the divine one day and drown in fear the next. This is not because he's weak or unwilling. It's because the spiritual body moves at its own pace, guided by divine timing and soul contracts far beyond the human mind's understanding. What he hides from you is just how deeply this journey is affecting him. He may pretend to be unbothered. He may even criticize spiritual concepts or act dismissive toward the idea of soulmates. But inside, he is being broken open. He is being called home, to himself, to the divine, and to you. Every challenge he faces is part of this awakening. Every heartbreak, every loss, every quiet night spent wondering what it all means is working on him, shaping him, preparing him. He may not know how to tell you what's happening, but it is happening. He is becoming the man his soul came here to be. Perhaps the most important truth the divine masculine hides is this. He loves you deeply, beyond comprehension, but he does not yet know how to fully love himself. He sees the way you look at him with faith, with hope, with sacred love, and a part of him aches because he doesn't yet see himself through those same eyes. He questions, why me? He wonders, what if I can't become what she needs? He fears that one day you'll see what he sees in himself and leave. Until he learns to love himself, your love feels like both a blessing and a burden. He wants to rise to meet it. He wants to be the partner you deserve. But he feels like he's standing in the shadow of your light, and no matter how hard he tries, he can't catch up. This is why he sabotages. This is why he runs. Not because he doesn't feel love, but because he doesn't feel worthy of love that pure. He hides behind silence because he doesn't have the words for this internal battle. He hides behind relationships that feel safer, simpler, ones that don't require him to face his wounds. He hides behind career goals, distractions, and endless excuses because loving you fully would mean showing up as he truly is. And he's not sure that's enough. But you're not asking for perfection. You're asking for presence. You're asking for honesty. You're asking for him to meet you soul to soul, heart to heart. And the truth is, he wants that too. He wants to reach that place. He just has to walk through his own darkness first. He has to face the parts of himself he's spent a lifetime hiding. He has to heal. Your journey is sacred. His is too. And even when it looks like he's forgotten you, even when you feel invisible, you are the heartbeat guiding him home to himself. That love you gave him, it planted a seed, and when he's ready, it will bloom. You don't need to chase. You don't need to convince. You don't need to abandon yourself to prove your love. What the divine masculine needs most is your steady, anchored energy, your quiet faith, your ability to stand in your truth while holding space for his journey. Stay connected to your own soul. Nourish your own heart. Keep growing. Keep shining. Let your love be a lighthouse, not a net. You're not here to pull him in. You're here to shine so brightly that when he's ready, he can find his way back. Feel your feelings. Cry when you need to. Set boundaries where they are needed. This journey is not about bypassing your humanity. It's about honoring it. You are allowed to want love that feels mutual. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to step back and say, I love you, but I choose myself too. Trust that this connection is doing its work, even when it's invisible. Trust that love doesn't disappear just because it's silent. Trust that your energy, your healing, your growth, it reaches him. It always has. And when he's ready, when he's no longer hiding behind fear, guilt, shame, or old identities, he will return. Not to the version of you who waited, but to the version of you who rose. The divine masculine silence is not the absence of love. It is the place where love wrestles with fear, identity, shame, and transformation. He hides not because he wants to stay hidden, but because his soul is still learning how to speak the language of truth. And you, Divine Feminine, are the catalyst for that transformation, not through force, but through the unwavering light of your heart. So take heart. You are not alone in this journey. The connection is real, the love is sacred, and the truth is already alive in both of you. Even in silence, it is growing. He may be hiding his feelings, but one day they will rise, strong, clear, and undeniable. And when they do, they will lead him back to the one place his soul has never forgotten, you.